podcast never felt this great. Tables, ladders, chairs, they tell it all, from the highest highs to the lowest fall. Great and glory tales from the ring, every chant, every cheer they'll bring. Devon and the Duke bring the heat, wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Wrestling podcast never felt this great.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Devon and the Duke podcast. This is a limited edition series hosted by your main man, Duke Loves Wrestling, and of course, the five-time Hall of Famer, the YouTube sensation, the TV star. All these years later, the man is still a TV star, making sure he's bringing in the ratings for the WWE. We're talking about the one, the only, Brother Devon Dudley. How you doing there, Devon?
I'm good. Thank you for that introduction.
Listen, man, you know, CW, they're going to have to give you your own show. You're kind of a big deal out there, huh?
Thank God I'm something. I just don't know. I'm sure many names come to mind to a lot of people, but especially the ones that don't like me, but it's all good.
Seriously speaking, when it comes to 2025 and still being able to show up on shows like NXT and getting a reaction and the fans enjoy it, the ratings show that, you know, it's a positive thing. Bro, do you pinch yourself and just be like, damn, is this really still my life?
Sometimes I do. I mean, I've been going 33 years strong now and still going. Not as active in the ring anymore as I used to be, but just being something that's still relevant it feels great,
And most of those kids down in NXT, I mean, they're young enough to be your children. So the fact that
Yes.
you're rolling with them and continuing to show them what's what and who's who, that's all right. That's all right.
I get a lot of people when I was there doing the new TV show, which is kind of like a spin-off sort of Tough Enough. And I forgot, I can't remember the name for the life of me. LFJ, something like that. I don't remember, but anyway, I went down there to do a couple of episodes and seeing some familiar faces that were in NXT when I was there, basically were very happy to see me and said, when are you coming back? We want you back. We need you back here. I was like, you guys don't need me back. I mean, you guys have great coaches and things like that. And they're like, no, we want you back. So just to have that type of reception when I came back there was good. And, again, if I go back to producing, I would love to do it on the main roster. But if I go to NXT, I would love to do it there as well.
I mean, you can't beat building up CW network. That's television that no matter who you are, whether you have cable, internet, rabbit ears, you can get CW networks. So to be affiliated with that in any way, shape, or form, and to be one of the people building that up, I think that's a pretty big compliment and that's a big deal. So absolutely, whatever you do is going to be fantastic. But I have a soft spot for this whole NXT on CW thing. I think it's massive, and I think it can only get bigger. And the way that they're drawing a diverse and younger audience, I think is amazing, because when legends like yourself pop in, it's almost like reintroducing you to these kids. Their parents grew up watching you. Now they get to see, well, who's that guy? And then maybe they'll go to the network or go on YouTube or what have you and look it up. Maybe they'll listen to this show, go to your YouTube and watch you and maybe get into trouble and what have you. But it's interesting to expose a legend to the new generation of fan, because it's like starting all over again in a very good way. So at WWE LFG, Legends and Future Greats. Now, it's going to premiere, folks, February 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on A&E. So Devon just gave us a little spoiler there. You were filming some content for WWE LFG, huh?
Yes. Filming some content for them and really enjoying myself down there. Very good group of people. Always has been very respectful, very knowledgeable. I mean, we're thinking about with all the coaches that they have down there to help them, they've got to gain some type of knowledge, and they're doing that. So again, staying relevant for this long is hard, but yet when you still are, it's a good thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And folks, the coaches on LFG, Devon's brother, Bubba, Bully, whatever he calls himself today, The
Right.
Undertaker, Booker T, Mickey James, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Of course, they had to bring Devon in there. You got to
Yeah.
have the 5-time Hall of Famer pop in. That's a beautiful thing, man. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Now, listen, Devon, I want to thank you for going out of your way to make sure that one of my ideas was executed on. Even though you must have told them to put a little extra spin on it. The last time we recorded, we were talking about main event Jey Uso, and I had stated that it would make sense for John Cena to eventually put main event Jey Uso over. That would elevate him. That would get him to the next level, Jay, where he truly would be looked upon as a guy who could be the champion of the company, the face of the company, the a top star, the whole 9 yards there. And to my surprise, I didn't expect you to be able to work your magic the way that you did, Devon. To my surprise, at the Royal Rumble, the last two participants, John Cena, main event Jey Uso, and in the end, John Cena puts over main event Jey Uso. Uso was able to eliminate John. Therefore, he has a guaranteed title match at WrestleMania. Congratulations, Jey Uso. That is huge. But thank you, Devon, for making sure that my creativity was executed on somehow, some way. Thank you for that, sir.
Oh no, thank you.
Did you expect that to happen, bro?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, look, I go through life day by day, not expecting anything anymore. Because when you expect, you get disappointed. And so I live life and I just do what I gotta do. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. At least there was no expectations about it.
When it got down to those two, did you see it like, all right, Jay's gonna win, or were you still thinking, nah, Cena's gonna pull this off?
Here's the deal. I think it benefits more Jay than it does Cena, because again, he's starting his singles run on a successful voyage. And in my opinion, yes, Cena winning the title for what, the 17th time would be great. It'd be history breaking. And, to acknowledge everything that he's done in the company would be, phenomenal. But at the same token, again, who does it benefit more, Jay or Cena? I just think it benefits Jay more because where do you go after the year's over with Cena? Who's to say that Jay can hang on to that stardom as long as he's hanging on to it? I have confidence that he could, but you just never know. Life is so different. So, what would possibly gain for Cena winning the title for the 17th time? I don't know. I just see Jay doing it, and I see Jay benefiting from it more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at Raw on Netflix, uh, Jey Uso cut that emotional promo. It ironically it reminded me of a Dusty Rhodes promo. I feel like Jay does a better Dusty Rhodes than even Dustin or Cody do. But Jay cut this emotional promo, and the fans gave him so much love, and they demanded that WWE restart Jay's theme music so they can do the whole yeet dancing all over again. Which you see the one more time, one more time. Remember back in the day they used to do that for Sid when he was
Mhm.
doing his power bombs and what have you. But one more time to do the dance and to celebrate this guy who really, this is the fans, man. They're the ones rallying behind him and pushing him to a point where the company can't deny him. Um, what do you think about that? Just the fact that the fans have taken the Jay so strongly and they're pretty firmly planted on this. That's their guy.
Well, the one thing about the fans is once they find someone that they like, and they put time and invest in, they're not going to turn against him. They love Jay, and for good reasons. And again, I think he can go any high. I don't know. I'm going to say this. I don't know if he can go any higher than he already is. Maybe he can. Maybe he can't. I don't know. But where he is right now is not a bad place.
I'm sure just about everybody in the business would love to be in the place he's in right now, where he's getting that kind of reaction. He's selling that much merchandise. He's got a guaranteed title match at WrestleMania. Life ain't so bad for Jey Uso.
No, it's not. No, it's not whatsoever. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to, trade places with him. Because I mean, again, he's on top of the world right now. But my advice to him is don't blink. Do not blink, because just like that, it could be over. And I say that because that's the way it is. You hear a lot of the veterans that say that. You hear people when I was coming up in the business say that. Just simple fact that it is true. You blink and it's all over.
So many guys have gotten an opportunity like this and have even become champion, and it just didn't work out. I think of I saw a video of Rikishi. Rikishi was watching
Yeah,
with some friends of his, including Mark Henry and even Mr. Kennedy. Remember, Mr. Kennedy was a guy who was supposed to be
right.
the next guy. He was going to be champion and all that good stuff. And then injuries got in the way, and that just didn't work out.
Well, from his side of the story, I guess he said that he was in the ring with Cena, and something happened where either he hurt Cena or he did something wrong, and somebody went to the office and told Vince, and then that was it. But I believe that's his version of the story about why he didn't get the push or whatever that he was supposed to get during that time. It had something to do with a match that he had with Cena. Again, that's what people were saying. That's what they were saying, and I believe I might have heard it from him. I know he was very bitter at the time.
That's another example of don't blink. That guy was riding high. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, something happened, whether it's the Cena thing, something else, something happened, and it was all taken away. And his
Mhm.
career has never been the same since, unfortunately.
Look at the Dudleys. Look at the Dudleys, Edge and Christian. Edge and Christian. No, not Edge and Christian. I'm sorry. The Dudleys and the Hardys. Now I can't say that. Look at the Dudleys. We were on top of the world, having great matches and everything with the Hardys and Christian. And just like that, it was over. Because Father Time took over or what have you. But it's like we blinked, and next thing you know, I'm retiring. It's like, what the hell? I left WWE. Like, damn, that went by quick. We've been going strong since '96, and now we're in 2025. But going back to 2016, from '96 to 2016, that's a long time to be on top. And it just seems like at the time, it seemed like we were just going, going. It was never going to end. And then all of a sudden, bam, it was over.
Yeah, blink of an eye. And Jey Uso is 39 years old. I mean, by the time we hit SummerSlam, he'll be 40. He debuted in 2007. So that's 18 years ago, you know.
Right.
So if we compare that to your time, yeah, we compare that to your time, it was probably right around that time, not long after that, right? Where things started to change for you.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? It just seemed like we just saw him and starting him and Jimmy on NXT, and now he's so 20 like he went, how many years went by?
18 years.
18 years went by just like that. It went by blink of an eye.
It's crazy. It's crazy to even think that, but
Mhm.
yeah, it goes fast there. But again, Jey Uso, congratulations, brother. You've earned it. You worked so hard. Congratulations to your entire family. Your father is so proud of you. All your loved ones, the fans are behind you. You just got to keep the plane steady, brother, because now the real work begins. Can you maintain it? And more importantly, can you find the next gear after this?
No, getting to the top seems hard because you've never been there, so you don't know what it takes to get there. But once you get there, then you start to realize staying on top is where the struggle starts, is where the fight begins.
Yeah, because the other side of it too, and especially today, look at all of these young, hungry lions that are really, they could step in. You look at a guy like Bron Breaker, who in the Royal Rumble, he had that exchange with IShowSpeed. And, for us, Speed is nobody to us per se. We're older. His content is not necessarily for us. But for these young kids, Speed is a big deal. He's one of the most popular YouTubers ever. And he does huge numbers, YouTube and Twitch and all that. He does bigger numbers by himself than the WWE does as a whole company. That's who Speed is.
Mm.
So the fact that Bron Breaker was able to give him that spear and then toss him out of the Royal Rumble, that is the most viral online clip in the history of the WWE. They've never had a clip that has done the numbers that one clip did.
Right.
So a guy like Bron Breaker has just been introduced to the world. People who may not even be pro wrestling fans, but they're fans of the Speed Kid, and they just saw this jacked up, tanned monster literally destroy their little YouTube hero. So now when they think about pro wrestling and they think about WWE, at least for now, they're thinking about Bron Breaker. So, it's just a reminder that it's so competitive today. The company is so competitive, which is a great thing. It's part of the reason why they're making so much money. But it's another reason why somebody like Jay, brother, you got to strap in, man. You got a long road ahead of you. Long road, but you can do it. You can do it for sure. Um, on the flip side, we had the return of Charlotte Flair,
Yeah.
and she ends up winning the Women's Royal Rumble, which is fantastic, right? But Charlotte got booed out of the building when she appeared on Raw and was giving her speech or what have you. What are your thoughts on Charlotte Flair getting this treatment after winning the Royal Rumble?
It could go to the testament of, like for instance, and I put it this way, like The Rock, like Hogan, but not so much Hogan, because Hogan's, reaction on Raw on the opening of Netflix was different. But it could be the fact that even though they love Charlotte and they respect Charlotte, they wanted somebody new. They probably felt that it deserved to be with somebody else. They were disappointed in that. That could be it. And I firmly believe that is it, because I don't think everybody hates Charlotte. Charlotte never did anything wrong but be successful. So I can't see them actually hating Charlotte for winning, or maybe Charlotte did something wrong for them to feel that way. I just feel that they might think that Charlotte, with her success, they want to see somebody else. You know, After a while, and I will say this about Hogan, and you might remember, after a while, and some people talk about it, when the Warrior came in right before WrestleMania 6, Hogan was being booed. Hogan was being booed in the arenas, and WWE didn't like it because they felt that it wasn't time for Hogan to relinquish his time. But they started booing him, and people were getting tired of the say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and do your training type of thing that Hogan was doing for so long. It was successful for a long time, but people started, it was getting stale to a lot of people back then. The same thing with The Rock. He was on top of the world for so long and entertaining people like crazy. Hell, even entertaining us in the back, you know. He was so good at what he did. And it was like around 2002, maybe 2003, they started turning on him. They started booing him in the arenas and things like that. Not like a full blown boo, like it's so noticeable, but you would hear things, and like even with the Hogan Rock WrestleMania moment, for them to turn on the Rock and go with Hogan, that was surprising to a lot of people. And then the next night in Montreal, the reaction that Hogan got was just surreal. It was unreal. It really was, and I was there. I didn't think that that would happen. but it did. But again, it just showed you that, again, I don't think it was anything that Charlotte did or they hate Charlotte or what have you. I just think that they probably felt with all the young new women that are coming up in WWE right now, they probably wanted to give it to somebody else. Now think about it. When was the last time that you had this many women in a company that is being featured brand new and being pushed the right way, and people are investing in everything that's going on? When was the last time you saw that?
It's never happened. It's never, at least in the WWE. Yeah, it's never happened.
It's never happened. And now all of a sudden, I mean, now with the merger, and when I say merger, I mean they're working together with TNA, Jordan Grace coming in and doing her thing, and getting over, so many of the women getting over that they probably just felt like, Charlotte, has been gone for so long and, due to injury. And now all of a sudden, you just come in and take the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, yeah. So let's make this a Devon Dudley lesson of the week here. When it comes to being an experienced wrestler, so I'm not even talking about somebody breaking in. I'm talking about somebody who's paid their dues, like a Charlotte Flair. When you come back from a major injury, she thought her career was over. She was out for a while, but she managed to fight back, come back, and the company continues to have faith. So they put her in a position where she could have that big moment. They're going to put her in a marquee match at WrestleMania. What is your
Mhm.
advice to experienced wrestlers who get a reaction that they didn't expect, especially when they're being booed heavily, and maybe that wasn't the plan? Maybe they thought they were going to be cheered, but they're getting booed heavily. Do you have any advice, Devon, for how to handle that from a personal and an emotional standpoint?
I think just go with it. Um, you know, i- that's why you can't really plan things in the back, because a lot of times the fans are just not going to go your way. They're not going to go your way. So, I don't know. I think you just got to go with it and just go out there, not thinking anybody's going to cheer you or not thinking anybody's going to boo you, but just go out there and just do your thing. And once you get out there and you see it, they'll know. You'll know from there where to go and how to do it.
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. A very close friend of yours and someone that you've helped mentor through the years, uh, the woman formerly known as Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone, she's getting booed out of the building over on the other side there in AEW, and it's a similar situation. She's a legend. Let's call it what it is. She's one of the first women to main event WrestleMania and all that good stuff. She's a legend. And that whole women's revolution, she was at the forefront of that with the other horsewomen. So to see her get the reaction that she's getting without even doing anything heelish per se, it's just naturally they're just the fans are tuning her out and letting her know that they don't want her. That's got to be tough.
It could be the booking. Tony, I mean, look, if she was in WWE right now,
Yeah.
I don't think that would happen. I think Hunter would know what to do and how to do it. I think Paul would know what to do and how to do it. And even, I hate to say it, Bruce Pritchard would know what to do and how to do with it. But Tony has no clue. I'm sorry. He can hate me, blackball me through the company. I don't care, but he has no clue. He's a kid with a bunch of toys that are playing with him. And, he's basically, he doesn't have the right knowledge of the business to be able to prevent something like that from happening to a star like her. I mean, because she's a star, no matter however you look at it. And you got to tell me that that reaction is coming from her. That reaction is coming to her like that. I just don't see why.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. There's no way if you take Mercedes Monet and you put her in today's WWE, she's not getting booed like that. It ain't happening. It is not happening.
No, it's not. And again, I mean, Tony's got to figure it out. He's got to find something. And again, you AEW fans can get mad. Devon and Duke, don't know what you're talking about, or what have you. But the fact of the matter is, you can say all you want, but it's still not going to change what's going on. If this man doesn't get any help, you AEW fans gonna have to go back to WWE or just not watch wrestling at all, because that's what it seems like it's going to.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. I mean, it matters. All of that matters. Speaking of mattering, Triple H, Michael Cole, a lot of folks during the Royal Rumble and even after during the press conference, they were poking fun at the dirt sheets. The dirt sheets claimed that a couple weeks back, Alexa Bliss had met with WWE and her representation had demanded a new contract. And according to the dirt sheets, WWE says no, she's going to finish the contract she's under. We're not going to give her a new contract yet. It's not time. And they claim that Alexa Bliss left the table and went back home. So there's no return date for her because they're in some kind of issue. And Alexa Bliss, she fed into that a little bit. She posted a photo of herself with her new baby, and she says, "If anyone needs me, I'll be at home doing this." So kind of poking fun a little bit, and the dirt sheets was like, "Oh, let's see, that confirms it. She's her and WWE are button heads." Well, she returned at the Royal Rumble, had a massive reaction, and Michael Cole was poking fun of that on commentary. I thought the dirt sheet said she wasn't going to be here, and then Triple H said, "Hey, they have no idea. Stop listening to the dirt sheets. They have no idea what's really going on." That's
They really don't. They really don't. They think they do. They portray like they do, but they don't. That's why you should never read things that you read online and believe it for the gospel, because it's not true.
Devon. They're charging people for these lies. They literally are charging people $5, $15, what have you, and they're just lying to them, just blatantly lying to them.
But here's the problem: we as wrestlers, we as podcast people, we say it all the time. Don't believe it. They might get one thing right, and that one thing right sets off them and sets off the fans and makes it, oh, well, they said it was right. I knew it was right, blah, blah, blah. And then they wind up believing it, and they wind up sending their money to these people. You guys are idiots that fall for this stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to be nice, because you guys have been told since day one that these guys are crooks. You don't go in the supermarket and buy the National Enquirer, do you? Because you know it's garbage. You know it's not right. So why would you go online and spend $15 to $20 on these dirt sheet people to see what they got to say? And 90% of it is wrong.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. I mean, look, folks, the proof is in the pudding here. When you have dirt sheet people trying to tell you about Devon Dudley, when Devon is giving you the straight facts here, he's giving you the straight facts on the Devon Dudley YouTube. I gotta wonder what's really going on with you. You're getting it directly from the source.
Leave it alone. Stop getting in people's business. It's none of your
And
business.
especially if you're gonna get it just flat out wrong. And I'm gonna say it one more time on this show, because the dirt sheet goofballs, they claim, well, no, we got it right. And it's like, no, you didn't get it right. Corey Brennan of Fightful tweeted out that Devon Dudley did not pass the health screening at NXT, and for that reason, he was not cleared for physical activity. That is not true. Devon never even took the test.
Exactly. Never took any test to be clear. It slipped through the fingers, or however you want to say it, for me to go get it done. No one called me. I didn't call anybody. I had no idea what I was doing until I got there. And there was supposed to be some physicality that day. And I got pulled to the side and said, "Hey, medical wants to see you." So I said, "Okay." And as I'm leaving to go with medical, the agent, the producer at the time says, Devon, don't worry about it. We'll tell you it's very simple and easy what you're going to be doing in this, and so forth and so on. I was like, all right, cool. And it was like, yeah, you don't have a problem with getting the tables and putting it in the ring and setting it up. And I said, no, not at all. So when the doctor heard that, he went, whoa, wait a minute, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, is there a problem with that? He goes, well, yeah, medically speaking, you're not allowed to get in the ring. I'm like, well, no one told me that. I said, I'm only getting the table. I said, I'm only getting the table, put it in the ring, set it up. And then possibly 3D, somebody threw it with, Bubba and Trick. I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. I was like, why? You got to be medically cleared. I said, to do that? I was like, what the hell? So, I'm sitting there begging and pleading my case, and it's going on deaf ears because they said, "We're sorry, new ball game. Doesn't work that way anymore." So I never took a test. I never did anything to see if I was going to be medically cleared. I didn't even know I had to be medically cleared. I had been out of WWE for so long. I didn't know you had to be medically cleared to do that. I mean, next thing you know, you have to be medically cleared to talk. I mean, it's just to that point now. It feels.
That's a far cry from what the dirt sheets are claiming. So, Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp, who's on a crusade. This guy who is just a disaster, in my opinion. You got to stop lying, and you got to tell the truth. No, I've never seen your reporting, Sean. You claim that you reported it correctly, but if you go back and listen to the original, recording between Devon and I, we explicitly pointed out Corey Brennan at Fightful. We called out Fightful. So this kid saying that Devon never got cleared because he didn't pass the test when he never took the test. You have to correct that record. That's bullshit. You're gonna get me swearing up in here now. It's bull crap. All right, and it matters. Don't lie on people because listen, I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm gonna start getting all worked up again here. But the dirt sheets got to cut it out, and it's happening. The fact that WWE are openly calling these guys out, it's not the first time. It's starting to become a thing now. I think it's wonderful, and I think they have to keep doing it. And I think that there's more value in people like IShowSpeed, Logan Paul. These are guys that have massive followings and are doing things, and that they can reach an audience that you don't already have. And then you have legitimate media, right? You don't need these gossip queens and these snake oil salesmen. You don't need them. You literally do not need them. So, I predict that by the end of the year, the landscape of what is and isn't wrestling media is going to be completely different because a lot of these guys are going to go out of business
Right.
because the mandate is pretty clear. Stop feeding the dirt sheets. They're a bunch of bull crappers. So stop feeding them. So let me get off my soapbox here. I'm all worked up. Theme music, Devon. You're a guy who's benefited from fantastic theme music through the years. How important is theme music to the overall aesthetic of a top star?
Huge nowadays. Huge. I would have never thought. You would have never heard me say this years ago, but it's huge now. It's something, that has resonated with the people in terms of if you got the right music, then right there you're starting to become a star. And, that's one of the things that has played over the years with theme music. You know, Gangrel, love Gangrel. Love the character that he played, the vampire, because at the time, in the mid to early 90s, Vampire Diaries, all that stuff was going on with whatchamacallit, with the vampires. There was another big one too. I forgot the name of it.
Well, you had Interview with the Vampire, which I think Tom Cruise starred in that.
Right. And then there was another one because I remember people taking their kids out of school to go to the movies to go see the premiere of this. I'm like, this is crazy. But my point is, Gangrel had one of the best theme songs to ever be in WWE. To this day, when I hear it, my head bops to the side, each side. It was so good that it actually helped make Gangrel. And, that's just a testament. And Gangrel was good before that. But man, that theme song was incredible. I put on my playlist on my Spotify because I forgot just how good it was. DX's um song with Run DMC.
Ooh, yeah, yeah,
That collaboration was
yeah.
incredible. That song with Run DMC was hot. And, that was what, almost 30, 35 years ago. And still today, when you play it, people's head turn and they still bop to it. It was that good.
Yeah, yeah. That please. Uh, what is it? I think the name of that song was "The Kings." Run DMC,
Yeah.
DX. They
The
call it.
King of Rock.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yep. The King
Kings.
of Rock.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. That was a good one. That came out in 2000, if I'm not mistaken. 25 years ago. Wow, deep,
Mm-hmm.
deep. So
There we
I
go.
bring this up because there's a lot of controversy surrounding the folks who handle theme music for the WWE over the past couple of years. Um, the the talent themselves have been vocal about it, and the fans have been very vocal about the fact that it's just not the same. The stuff that Jim Johnston worked on for so many years, all those themes that he came up with, which I'm pretty sure Jim Johnston was the one who did the Dudley Boys themes as well. Um, his stuff it lives forever.
Yeah, he did our things
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, his stuff lives forever. And some of these themes that you hear today, they all kind of sound the same, and that's not necessarily a good thing. You don't necessarily you don't
Right.
hear the bomb about to drop, so you know it's the Dudley Boys. You don't hear the glass breaking, so you know that it's Stone Cold. You don't hear if you smell, so you know it's The Rock. Like it's not hitting like that. Where all you got to do is hear one little bit, and you know exactly who it is, and you get up on your feet because you know so and so is. It just doesn't have that kind of feel to it. Unfortunately, lately, and again, the wrestlers themselves they're complaining about it. Um, do you feel that not having the right music could, to a certain extent, actually hurt your brand as a talent?
I think he can. I do. Again, name some other songs. Look at John Cena was good anyway. And I'm sure he had a lot to do with it with Jim Johnson. But, even his, Thug Life, you know, everybody was singing that song when it came out and they were bopping to it. They were loving it. Plus, it was a white guy doing rap music at the time, and even though we had, white guys like third base. A lot of young guys won't know about this. Eminem came later, but who else was there during that time? Uh, Marky Mark was on, who made a transformation into movies. Um, there's somebody else I'm forgetting too. Oh, Vanilla Ice. Believe it or not, you can say what you want to say about Vanilla Ice. Say what you want to say, but when he first came out, he was hot. He was, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing him. He was really that good. So, it's one of those things where, you know, music makes a person. And again, even though I'm sure, like I said, Jim Johnson had help with creating John Cena's song Thug Life, you cannot deny Jim Johnson's producer qualities. He was really good at what he did. He even wrote "The Path of the Righteous Man" for me, for Reverend Devon, and I got more likes about that than I did the actual character.
That song was over, boy.
It was over.
Do you think they should bring Jim Johnson back in some kind of capacity?
I would love to see Jim Johnson come back to create music for WWE's theme songs, but will he come back? I mean, it's a new regime, But when he left, when he got laid off, it was the Vince's regime that did it. It wasn't the Hunter's regime. So I don't know how he would feel about coming back to the company. It's I don't know. I would love to see him come back, but I just don't know.
Well, Jim Johnson, you got two big fans of yours here, brother. You've done so much fantastic, legendary work. You should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. You should be brought back in some capacity. Uh, these younger stars, they could definitely use your help. I'll tell you right now, man. They could definitely use your help. So I'm throwing it
Mhm.
out there. I'm throwing it out there. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, it was announced that Triple H is going to be the headliner for the 2025 Hall of Fame. So he's the first person that they announced that will be inducted this year. What are your thoughts about Triple H officially becoming a WWE Hall of Famer?
Oh, I think it's great. I don't think my opinion is I would have liked to have seen him come in on his own first and then come in as the group DX. I thought I always knew that they would have to do that eventually, but now I guess it's the right time to do it. Um, Being that he runs the company now, I'm glad Undertaker and Shawn Michaels was the one that reached out to powers to be to say, hey, listen, we need to do this and this and this. And it wasn't Hunter putting himself in there because of the fact that I don't think the fans would appreciate that. And again, so what if he did? He deserves to be in there. But again, Hunter and Sean made the call to Nick Khan and said, listen, we need to put him in there as a single, as as Triple H and not DX. He needs to go in, he needs to get the spotlight on him. And I absolutely agree with him.
I mean, let's face the facts here. Triple H almost died a couple years back. Like his situation with his heart, if he did not go to the hospital when he did, he would no longer be here. Like he was literally hours away from being gone. And he's done a couple of interviews about that, very emotional interviews, going into detail about that. Tomorrow's not promised for anybody. And it's tricky when you're one of the bosses. Obviously, you don't want to put yourself over and all that other good stuff. You're always going to get criticized for that. So, like you said, Devon, the fact that HBK and Undertaker, they appealed to Nick Khan and, the powers that be made it happen is fantastic because there's no one in the Hall of Fame that's any more deserving than Triple H. If we're going by people's careers and their impact on the business, no one is more deserving. So if everybody else can be in there, then yes, this guy should absolutely be in there. And I think it's the right call and it's the right time to do it while he still has all of his faculties, while he's still able to give a great speech and all that good stuff, while he can receive his flowers. I appreciate when the WWE honors people who have passed away, but it always bothers me a little bit because it's like, damn, it's too bad this person is not alive to receive this on their own. When the Dudley Boys got inducted, that was one of the most beautiful inductions and speeches and all that and the crowd participation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Devon, but that's a memory that you'll probably never forget, right?
I never will. I mean, I'll never will forget. It was a great moment, a great time. And I was able to express how I felt. I was able to express the gratitude that I had for not only the company and the people that I worked with, but the fans. I was able to get that out. And like you said, you got some people that are no longer here that was put in the Hall of Fame, and they weren't able to do that. They had family members represent them. Why not do it when they're alive? There's still guys out here that deserve to be, Bam Bam Bigelow, but he's no longer with us. The British Bulldog, who's no longer with us. There's so many people that should be able to give speeches and things like that on their career and how grateful they are, but they're no longer here. Dino Bravo, Canadian Strongman is one. I mean, so many guys, man, that I would have loved to have heard from. Hercules Hernandez. I mean, just so many names. That I remember growing up and watching, and now never got the opportunity to hear what they have to say at their Hall of Fame speech. So it's one of those things where, like you said, if they're alive, get them in there, do it, because nobody's promised tomorrow.
Nobody is promised tomorrow. Well said. Well said. I agree with you 100%, brother. We got to find a way, you
Mhm.
know. Uh, what's on the tap for you the upcoming week here, Devon? Do you have any special live appearances coming up?
Yes, I'm going to be at Chuck E. Cheese here in Melbourne with my kids. I'm going to be at the Jump House with my kids. I'm doing a whole kid thing.
I love that. I love that. Now, are we going to see you going through Do they still have the ball pit where you could jump into all the balls and all that stuff there? We're going to see Devon Dudley in the pit.
Listen, there's a weight requirement. Unfortunately, I don't meet it, so I won't be able to. So I passed that.
So listen, if you're at Chuck E. Cheese in Melbourne and you see the big man there, hey, buy him a slice of pizza. Why not? I'm sure you could still have a nice Chuck E. Cheese slice of pizza, right?
Well, if I plan on getting in that ball pit, I shouldn't.
Oh man, listen. What's the best way everyone listening can keep up with you and make sure that they know what's going on, especially with the YouTube and all that good stuff there, brother? Plug away.
Well, the YouTube channel is definitely one thing, telling my stories, things like that. I do put on where I'm going to be and so forth and so on. It's Devon Dudley, D-VON Dudley. Type it in on YouTube and my stuff comes up. And please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and let me know what you also interested in seeing, the guests and all of that. So, please let me know. You can also find me on Instagram, Testify Devon, and as well as Twitter at Testify Devon. I'm just basically trying to be all over the place and trying to do what I have to do.
Great stuff there. Great stuff. As always, Duke Loves Wrestling on Gmail, on Twitter, Duke Loves Wrestling on Facebook. Let me know what you think of the show. Send in your questions, the whole 9 yards there. I know a lot of you folks have been vocal about the fact that you enjoy when Devon goes over lessons in pro wrestling, life lessons, all that good stuff there. So, of course, we're going to keep delivering that for you for sure. We got a special birthday shout out there, Devon. One of our wonderful listeners by the name of Smitty, James Smith, a.k.a. Smitty, or Smivy, as some people call him. What do you have to say to this Boston guy? Of course, he's a Boston guy with a name like that, Smitty.
Mr. James Smitty, well, listen, on behalf of Duke, Devon, and I'm sure every listener we have out there, we wish you nothing but the best on your birthday. We hope you have a blessed and safe one. Congratulations on another trip around the sun. Keep it going, stay healthy and prosperous, and keep your head up, my brother.
Indeed. Smitty, happy 35th to you, brother. That's right. All right, it's that time of the week here. Devon's word of the week. What do you have for us this time, big man?
Well, it's like a paragraph in a sense. I just put it on my Instagram not too long ago. Don't worry about telling your side of the story to keep the facts straight. Choose to not care about what others believe about you. It's very free, it's very freeing, and God knows the truth. So don't worry about getting your story out there. Don't worry about getting your last little bit of word out there. Trust that God knows the truth, and that's all you need to know about. Because the idiots ain't gonna listen to you anyway, even if you try to put the facts out there. So ignore it, forget it, don't worry about them.
Wise words, and let me say it, testify.
My brother.
Strictly for the culture every day. Step in style in your unique way. Patterns and colors so divine. All about the perfect line. Be yourself, let your spirit fly. In this fashion, you'll touch the sky. Strictly for the culture, brand so fine. Dress to impress and show your shine. Strictly for the culture, every day. Step in style in your unique way.
Visit www.strictlyfortheculture.ca.
Backstage whispers and the crowds roar. From matching giants to legends of yore. Devon's wisdom and Duke's keen view. Every episode feels like it's brand new. Devon Wrestling podcast never fails.